Because so what we've realized that it was some of our very own elected officials, blacks, who kept that referendum off of the ballot. And they stood against us. They stood against the same people who voted them into office, right? They went against their constituents. We elected you to work and fight on our behalf. You are to listen to what your people want. You don't do what you want. You did not elect yourself. Your constituents elected you. So that was something that we found out. Listening to the interview with Devin, he hit on a lot of impactful things, the numbers, the statistics. I don't know if you were aware, but in 2019, the group that I was fighting with, we found out that CTU members made a trip to Venezuela in 2019. And on that trip, they praised the government, they praised the teachers, the students, the economic stance there, which we know was horrible,
Right.
but they glossed it over. This article was in the Chicago Tribune. They released it, I believe it was August of 2019. In my research as an elected election coordinator, I started paying attention to the election book because they started making small changes that I think a lot of people was not really paying attention to. And the biggest changes that stood out to me regarding this subject matter was as far as homelessness, which is a voter's block. It's been a voter's block for a very long time, but a lot of people either ignored it or they were unaware that that was such a voter's block. Well, in 2019, they started playing with the residency. So at one point, it said, what is the residency of a homeless person? It said park bench, under the viaduct, right? In 2019, it changed, and then it started saying homeless shelters. In 2020, if I'm not mistaken, they added tents to it, right? Yeah. And then next thing you know, last year, 2022, what happened? I mean, 2023, there was an influx of tents everywhere, right? All set up, purposely set up. So it makes you wonder what's really going on here, right? I don't believe in coincidence,
No, there's
right?
no such thing.
So that's something that, you know, stood out to me as far as the whole immigration situation. It's like they were preparing for this. And because we were not paying attention, it came right up under the radar. It's a lot that's starting to make sense, and we are being pushed out. We have been pushed out. You know, I live in Auburn Gresham. I have Venezuelans on my street. For someone who had nothing, they all have new cars, right? I can't even park on my block a lot of times. Coming from work, they have all the parking spaces. And then you see them once a week with these same cars unload boxes and boxes of perishable foods, right? There was shooting. One shot another one. He's back in the neighborhood, you know? So it's disturbing. It's disturbing.
So you're seeing personally your life change.
Of course, of course. You have these areas that are, you know, there is crime. I don't care what they say. They do per capita.
Right.
There is crime, right? We know this. But then on top of that, when you feel that the system is failing you, right? And then they come and then they place more people who are not like you, and you literally see them doing everything under the sun, and it's going unchecked. And it's like, okay, at least if you're gonna let them be American, they should follow the law of America. But when we was in City Hall, they kept bringing up Harold Washington. It's like they were weaponizing themselves, using him against us. Well, if you look at when he wrote it, I think it was March 9th, 1985, when he wrote the Sanctuary City policy. In that, he said that the law enforcement, federal government can look into them if needed, right? If they broke a crime,
Right.
they, broke the law, that they can investigate. He put that in there. He never said that taxpayers have to be financially responsible for them fully. He never said that they can break the law and nothing can happen to them. That is not what he wrote. So when they use that, it's kind of like a slap in the face. You're using, a politician that many black people, for whatever reason, because they're Democrats, right? They believe in Harold Washington. So you're using this man to kind of attack these people, to shut them up. But if you fast forward, Daley, he didn't revise it. He restarted it, right? I guess it expired, so he restarted it. It was Rahm Emanuel, with the help of Obama, who changed that. After him, Lori Lightfoot made her change. And then we have Brandon. So when they touched it, they took out that part that said that illegal immigrants, if need be, they can be prosecuted, that they can be looked into, they can be investigated by the federal government. That's the part that they removed. But when they shove it down your throat, they don't use their part. They throw Harold Washington at you. Well, he wrote it. Yeah, he did, but you changed it. You know what I'm saying? So be real. Tell the whole truth. Let everybody know, what is really happening. Don't take bits and pieces. And that's what happens. We have to do our own research.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, so you're telling me that you have people in your neighborhoods, and that's exactly what I heard yesterday in Saul. Neighborhoods are being just taken over because attached to them is enormous amounts of monthly stipend
Yes.
money for housing, okay? And the reason why they have new cars is they're getting asylum, asylee, refugee payments that could total into the thousands of dollars a month. Their housing's paid, their food's paid, their medical, all everything. And this is going on for now 3 to 4 years.
Right.
And it's gonna continue on. As I was telling Devin before, all of my sources say that the 3 major areas is Boston, New York, and Chicago, everyone's coming. We will surpass almost 4 million people cross into America this year that we know about. I believe the number is closer to probably at the end of Biden's term, which is 6 months, 7 months away, that he will have allowed in 27 to 30 million people. Let's say that Mayor Adams is correct, which you have to listen to what they say.
Exactly.
Okay, you have to.
You have to.
You can't ignore them. I don't think he's intelligent, man. I think he's way over his skis. But you can't ignore them because you think he's stupid. You have to listen to what they say. There's a reason why he used that number 700,000 because that's the plan.
Right.
Somebody told him that this is the number. What does Chicago look like with 700,000 more illegal aliens and they will come within the next 18 months? What does it look like?
A third world country, right? Disruptive than what it currently is. I think it's gonna be 10 times as worse. Because what's gonna happen, it's going to become a fight, blacks against Venezuelans. And I think that's what they want. They want us to have to fight them, right? That way they can sit back and it's like allowing someone else, hopefully, to do their dirty work. So you're looking at something bigger than the whole insurrection on January 6th, right? Because now you're gonna have community citizens against foreign nationals. And it's a slap in the face. Why do we have to fight someone who aren't even citizens, a group that's not even citizens, right? My ancestors, they built this country. We built this country. We helped build this country. And now you want us to go to war with some people who have their own country. Go, you want to help them? Send them the money, which I don't agree with this. I'm being sarcastic.
Right.
Send them all the money like you're doing Ukraine. Send it to them. Let them.
I think they're doing it.
I just think this is an opportunity to destroy the black race. History shows it has been attempted many times before. And even back then, right, if we're going to really deal with the history of racism, slavery, they've always used some of us to take control of us, right? They always put our own. They've always used us. You know, you have the field house blacks.
Mhm.
I won't use the word that they used back then.
Right.
You have the house ones, right? You had, even then, you had black against black. Even. So why is it strange that they're using people that look like me to take out people like me? No, they want to destroy us. They want to finish us off. And that's what I believe. And they cannot tell me different. I don't care if Brandon Johnson is up there. I don't care. I don't care how black he is. I do not look at him and relate to him. I don't see him as one of my people. I just don't. And it's a list of others. I can go on. It's so many of them, you know, so.
I know, and then, and my final question is, I just would like to ask, because this has been brought up from, and I've interviewed, individuals in Chicago for the last day and a half, 2 days, from the lowest level,
Mhm.
economic and education,
Mhm.
all the way to high level people
Mhm.
in Chicago, and different races all the way the spectrum. And I don't even, this is what I write about, and this is what I go on interviews and I talk about this theory. And what's shocking to me is I don't even bring it up before, like Devin brought it up,
Mhm.
and it's the replacement.
Mhm.
I don't even articulate what my view is before the people I'm speaking to says we're being replaced.
Mhm.
So my last question to you is, do you feel there is a intentional strategic plan to replace not just America or Americans, but in particularly in our narrow focus of Chicago, to replace black Americans in Chicago?
Definitely, I do. As you said, that 700,000 number, it keeps popping up. And as Devin hit on, we know what our current population is, you know, here in Chicago. It's 700 to 800,000. Again, I don't believe in coincidence,
No.
right? Even Adams mentioned what, 700,000.
Mhm.
Right? So I think we have to start paying attention to the things that these people say and know how to fight back, right? And take a stand
Mhm.
and keep our stands in this country because, again, we have built this country.
It's yours, you're an American.
Exactly.
It's ours.
Yes.
It's our nation.
It
We should
is.
not be paying for, we should take care of our brothers and sisters, no
Mhm.
matter what the hell the color is, no one cares. Take care of them and not take care of foreign nationals.
Mhm.
And everyone will, and I'm gonna interview pastors as I have already, and a lot of the leftist pastors will say, well, that's not the Christian thing. And I go, no, God never said for me to displace my family
Mhm.
and take care of foreigners.
Mhm.
I will stand before God if I let my wife and my son starve and die